place.
We got patches. Getting an Uber. CrossFit Crucible. I make workouts a priority. So every single day, like no matter what, CrossFit is a priority. And it's like no questions asked. Everybody out here knows that that's what I'm gonna do. So they basically leave me out of everything. They just kind of let me do my thing. And like even management knows that, no interviews in the morning before 3 o'clock before sound check, because I'm gonna be looking for CrossFit. And it's not always easy to find. Sometimes, because CrossFit owners 9 times out of 10 own the place, run the place, do all the paperwork. They're the maintenance guys, they're the IT guys. They're always busy and you can't really get them. You can't get them on the phone, and sometimes they don't answer emails, so your best chance of contacting one is through Facebook. In order to get one CrossFit gym, sometimes you gotta contact many. So I spend probably like 4 hours a week setting up CrossFit for the week prior, for the next week, and to make sure I got it all set up, and so that's how we do it. And you just, like I said, you make it a priority, and between me and Justin, we always make it happen. We try to do at least 5 days a week if we can while we're on the road, but we'll settle for 4, but we won't settle for 3. That might be him right there. Look, there he is. Told you, he's rolling. Roger. All right. How you doing, man?
What's up?
You got room for a camera guy?
Heck yeah.
All right. All right.
We heard music locally.
23-year-old Chris, he would be very surprised. I didn't. When I was 23 years old, I worked out, but I didn't work out like this. I was a go to the mirror guy and look in the stand in the mirror and do curls and do it for 2 weeks and then not go back in there for 7 months. That was kind of my routine. I don't think 23-year-old Chris would understand what I'm doing now. But if he did, and I would have started this when I was 23, man, imagine where I'd be today. Before, I never understood why I couldn't really bend over all the way, and I really couldn't I wasn't functional as some of the other guys I saw playing guitar, and I never really realized that, that I wasn't in shape to be a performer. And now since I've discovered CrossFit, my body moves so much better. And so if I can get up in the morning and do CrossFit, do 30 minutes of mobility, do a couple WADs, and then do a nice big workout, the rest of the day I'm kind of loose and kind of lucid, even if I'm a little bit sore. And it really translates into the show later on that day. Great. I need a Diet Coke in my life. First things first. But I gotta weigh it so I know how much I got, so I can properly track. Look at that. Boom. What's it, 108? Yesterday's breakfast. Start with a banana. Pressure, I let that go years ago, man. I mean, I could make it about that, but just go out there and do what I do. I just remember that I've done it 1,000 times, and I can play these songs and do my taxes at the same time. So I mean, it's like, I just got to relax and just get in that headspace and try to enjoy it, not try to make it more than what it is, and have a good time, man. If you can't have fun doing this for a living, something's wrong with you. Do they want me to sign the sweet spot, or?
Card. This comes with every signature Chris Henderson model guitar, so you know how to use it.
And they don't make these anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that people are still bringing them.
You have his 3-year coin.
You want me to have his 3-year coin?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. For AA, I think this is AA. Yeah. He's got 3 years clean and sober, 3 years sober. in recovery. So that's pretty cool. It's hard to do. I'm working on 8 in another program. So, yeah, I kind of kept it quiet. I didn't really talk too much about it. So I've been doing it a long time. I got clean in 2010, and been not struggling, but I mean it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, especially here in Disneyland. But you know, you do what you do. You don't want to die. You want to stay alive. So I stay clean. Obviously, way before CrossFit. Yeah. And a lot of guys in recovery will trade these things. Usually it's sponsor to sponsee, but that's cool that, you know, because that ain't easy. That ain't easy to get. 3 years is tough.
I CrossFit at home now, thanks to Chris and Justin, and then on days off, if we're in the same city, they'll occasionally invite me out to go do a WAD with them, and take every opportunity to go do it. It's being on the crew. It's hard to go and CrossFit every day because, you know, we're here at a certain hour, and you know, it's all day. Can't leave kind of thing. Our friend Freedom here flies on stage right every night. I started putting it on the pick stand because Chris doesn't sing through a microphone. So I got a flag topper and a flag that comes out every night, and back we get picks go here, so he can go up to the riser and grab some picks. Chris was like, "Hey, I want a flag on the other side of the stage." Okay, so the next mission is in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut. Go find a flag at a Ace Hardware or Walmart, wherever. Get another flag. So we've got another flag hanging on the other side of the stage. I try to accommodate that every time, as much as I can.
So you could have everything that's on here. You're not limited to,
I eat anything.
but you're just limited on calories and carbs.
No, calories I don't really pay much attention to. Just the macros, just the fat.
What does macro mean?
Macronutrient. I don't really know the scientific stuff for it, but I just know it's fat, carbs, and protein. And if you stay within the parameters they give you, man, it's pretty much. If it's not working, you check in once a week with them, and if it's not working, they go, "Oh, it's not working. Let's change some things."
Cool.
So, and it works out, man.
I dig it.
Yeah, it works. All right. Good to go. We're gonna be good to go. Sweet potatoes. Tofu, you need it. This is what? Grilled mahi-mahi? I know it's gonna be good there. I know, right? This is gonna be okay. So I gotta do a catch plate and a zero plate. Zero it out. See what we got. Just measuring everything, and then I'll put it in my Fitness Pal and see where it stands, and then I'll take away a little bit if I need to. But if I can get away with eating all of it, because I'm kind of low today, I will. But I try to always load up on as many vegetables as I can at dinner if they're here, and because I don't always on the road you don't always get the veggies that you need. So you got to keep your fiber up. So when they're there, man, I go for it. And I basically just pile them on and then eat backwards from there. And if it didn't work, I wouldn't be doing it. But since it works so well, I can't see myself not doing it. And I do it every day, everywhere I go, restaurants. And some days you can't do it, but you've already done it so many times that I can eyeball a piece of chicken and be like, that's about 4 ounces, you know, and then kind of get in there with that. But no, 10 years ago, I'd have been in the cookies by now. What's up, bud? It's like a bunker. Like a bunker. So you can always tell the guys that are counting macros when you see this stuff, right? Zero fat yogurt and then sugar-free Jell-O. That's how we live, man.
We started about the same time doing it. So like sometimes follow him down the path of whatever diet he was working on, see if it would work for me. And this one was like the best one that made the most sense, the one he's working on now. So that's what I've been doing as well. I don't know, this one works good. Yeah, I think we just we keep each other motivated, and we have same food habits sometimes. Like we always joke around about that. Like if there's like bad food we want to get into, we're both like, yeah, let's like here's Cheez-Its and hot sauce, and like let's go for it. And on the same accord, we have the same like kind of the drive to stay healthy and the drive to keep each other motivated to work out on the road. For both of us, we were kind of like unhappy with the way we looked and felt, and we were both kind of at different times looking for that thing that, like, we were running, we were, you know, doing curls at the hotel gym kind of thing, and we both kind of stumbled into CrossFit around the same time, and we're kind of like, hey, yeah, I think we should try this, and once we really got into it and started, like, both of us started seeing results and getting better at certain things, we kind of just clicked. It was like, yeah, I think we both kind of did that individually, and then when we're on the road, it was easy to have somebody else that would keep you motivated. It's pretty easy to get in a funk, like, especially if you're trying to, like, do it by yourself, and there's so many days you can get up and be like, I slept in a little bit, I'll just skip this noon class, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get out to it. But if there's somebody else who's like, yeah, let's do this, then it's like, all right, cool, I'm going to push myself over whatever, like being tired or sore or whatever it is, because I don't want to let him down, he doesn't want to let me down, like, oh, we're going to miss it.
No, I haven't either. I hit a really good live.
No, man, all I really do pre-show is I get the set list for the night, and I make sure that I go over every piece of each song where I play alone. And I do that because I want to make the mistake in here and not make it out there. Because even though I've been playing these songs for 20 years, it's still, for some reason, I still make a lot of mistakes. And so I like to make them before I go out on stage. That's the only pre-show ritual I have. If I don't do that, because I've been doing it for so long, if I don't do it, I can't play the show. I have a terrible night. So I just come in here, spend a few minutes going over the set list. Yeah, drop G. I used to think that, like, when I made a mistake that only everyone in the audience could hear it and they would all be like, gosh, that guy sucks. But after hearing recorded shows and looking and listening from a state, one time, for instance, we played, maybe it was the Grammys, maybe it was the American Music Awards, I don't know, but I was on the stage, we're playing Here Without You, and I looked down in the front row, Joe Perry from Aerosmith was looking at me, and Christina Aguilera was sitting there, and, you know, all these, like, big A-list people were all in the front row, and they're like, you know, impress us, playing the song, and I totally went to the wrong chord. It's just me and Brad singing, and I went to the wrong chord, and Brad stuttered. So when he stuttered, I realized I had made a mistake, and it was a bad deal. Like, but he was pissed, and we had this big, not a fight, but he was like, what happened? And I was like, man, I tried to go to the wrong chord, but no one in the audience knew. I went back and listened. I went back and watched that show, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find a mistake. It was the worst night of my life. And to this day, every time I play Here Without, I have to go over Here Without You backstage before I go on stage and play it. You'll see tonight, I'll go grab a guitar right after encore, and I'll start going over it before I go back out and play it. And I've been playing that song since 2000, 18 years. And I still do it 5 nights a week.
It'll be easy now because there won't be shit.
What is it? How's it look?
Chicken.
That looks weird. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, because, like, what's in that? You know what I mean? Like, how much fat is in that hamburger? Do we really know? So, and what is that? So how do you track that? You know what I mean? So without really knowing, I want to be able to put it in my phone and kind of know what I'm doing. So I got to go with what I know, and something that I can eyeball pretty easily. So I can probably eyeball that and call that a side salad, and then that's got to be like maybe 4.5 ounces of chicken, and yeah, just go with that. You know, like the other day, I was having a conversation with my daughter, and I was like, getting ready to go on the road again, and she's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, you gonna miss me? She's like, well, I always miss you. She goes, but you'll be back. And we've been blessed that where we go out for like 2 weeks. What do you say, JP? 2 weeks and come back, you know, for like 4 or 5 days. I mean, we used to go out for 3, 4, 5, 6 months and then never see home. And that was a nightmare. You know, but that's how you do it. But we've been doing it long enough now. We don't have to do it like that. We can go out for a couple weeks, go home for 4 or 5 days. And living in Nashville, if you think about geographically where Nashville is, it's 8 hours from everything. So it's an overnight drive on a bus. So you can go to Chicago, you can go to New York, you can go to, you know, Philadelphia, Washington D.C., you know, anything on the East Coast, all the way down into like almost Orlando. I mean, you can get 8 hours away from Nashville. Really, you know, that's okay. I can sense that I'm happier. You know what I mean? Like when we were partying and not taking care of ourselves and just working all the time. It's like you were happy, at least you tell yourself you were, but it was just kind of like a cow going through a field. It was like going through life, kind of like that. But with getting healthy, you're able to experience everything way better. You sleep better. People are happier. Me and my wife are definitely happier together. My kids notice it's it's kind of trickled into them. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like the positivity that I've gathered is kind of just through osmosis getting to other people. And I think that's the most positive thing that's come out of all of it. The diet and just the different changes that I've made, people they notice and they want to do something too. Man, it's hard to eat in America and be healthy because all the stuff that's out there, it's red and it's yellow and it's this and that, it's fun and it's fried and it's all about how big it can be. And you know, the human body, I found through doing this, that doesn't really need all that food, you know, to stay alive and to be healthy. But you get told your whole life that a bowl of cereal that big is how much you need, and the next thing you know, you're in your 30s and you can't get your pants buttoned. And you know, because I was there, I know all about it. So you know, just learning about the food part of it, because this was the key. It wasn't exercise, it was diet and exercise, but this right here is the key to the whole thing. It's the key to the kingdom, man, is the diet and the amount and the way that you eat and the way that you approach it. It's the key. And I would have never been able to figure it out by myself. I had to have somebody help me with it that already had figured it out. So I'll tell you a cool story about this song. Let Me Go. Was actually written for Spider-Man 2, the movie Spider-Man 2, and they didn't use it, thank goodness, because it was a huge hit for us. It was a big pop hit for us. But they sent Brad a 15-second clip of the movie where Mary Jane and Peter Parker were in the cafe, and he asked her, you know, do you love me? And he lied to her and said no. And she's like, well, how about just one kiss? And then the kiss scene happened, and Doc Ock through the car, right? Well, that's where just one kiss could be the best thing, one more lie could be the worst. That's where that line came from. And Brad wrote it from that 15-second clip of that movie. I always thought that was just cool. He doesn't ever tell that story, but it's one of the greatest song stories I've ever heard. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things where like, we don't like the song, it's not our good, and we were like, okay, we're kind of hoping they would say that. You know what I mean? So we didn't use it. And then also, It's Not My Time was written for the Poseidon Adventure. That riff, they sent a clip, and the water scene with the waves crashing across the boat, it gave me this kind of somber feeling. But it's not my time. The lyrics came from It's Not My Time. You know, I'm not going, that kind of thing. Came from that movie.
I think you just go right on up there. Right on. You have him in, you guitar what you get up there. Okay. Once y'all are in place. Shit, you're gonna need a guitar.
need to hear it.
Yeah, we can bring one over, take
Yeah,
it back. No
perfect.
problem.
Let's get a guitar.
So yeah, I mean, you're pretty much just going dead beeline for that shit.
Yep.
Because the intro's going to start once that gets going. So
I'm
gonna
gonna be in my little world over there.
On the encore, when you point at me and I hit it, there's a delay, like 3-second delay. So I do hit it. It seems like I don't.
Where are you gonna be?
Straight across the stage, you'll see me.
You don't want to walk on stage with you, do you?
I know what you said. I'm just gonna hear it.
God, thank you for our brothers and sisters really around out here, for every one of these fans. Thank you, God, for bringing us all here safely. Keep us safe tonight, God, and help everybody out here to have a great time. Help us go out here and do a great job. Give us the strength, the confidence, the stamina, the ability, and the courage to go out here and be our best. Help our best to be better than we think we can be. Let's put on a great show. Help everybody out here to have a great time. Let's do a great job. But above all, God, I pray that these people see you through us. Thank you once again, God, for everything that you've given us, for all your blessings. And I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I gotta switch you over. You're good.
I didn't know you sang that song. I didn't know that was y'all. That's y'all? All right.
When I get back to the bus at night, it's usually going to be two things. It's either going to be protein or carbs or both. And my fat's always maxed when I get back at the end of the day. So I can't really do much fat, but if I can, what I always try to do is I try to build in a couple tablespoons of this stuff, and I like to, believe it or not, I just like to eat it. Just like eat it right out of the thing. So, but I get 3 tablespoons of that, but for carbs, I always do Crofters and rice cakes, man. Quaker rice cakes. And I know how many's in them, so I can look at I already know how much is in a tablespoon of this and how many carbs are in this. And I can add it in my head. I've been doing it for a while. And then for protein, I always go to my old go-to. So at the end of the night, pretty much every day, I fill up my numbers with this. And then of course, the head fake. the before bed head fake because there's 1 gram of protein in that, and I don't make a habit of eating 50 of them a day, but I'll eat 1 a night, and there's nothing in that, man. Like, look, there's nothing in it. Since I've been doing all this crazy dieting, and then before I found WAG, I realized that I really only ate like 15 or 20 things, and it wasn't really much deviation from that. So if I could find the 15 or 20 things that I ate and fit them into this program, I was going to be good, you know? And so that's what I've been doing, and just kind of in cruise mode right now. Once the show's over, I'm just kind of like, can relax and can eat the rest of my macros that I have. I always save a lot so I can night eat, you know what I mean? So I try to save about at least 30 grams of protein and probably 40 grams of carbohydrates at night. I try to if I can, if I don't go overboard during the day, just so I can just feel like I ate something before I go to bed so I don't wake up hungry, you know? But I feel pretty good usually.